what's up everybody? It's Ken here, and in this video, I want to talk to you about the name. The name you choose for your events, your books, your online courses will make it or break it.
So the big question is this: how is a tiny percentage of entrepreneurs blow the pack away? What are they doing that we're not? I asked myself that question for 10 years. I was failing forward and getting sick of it. I wanted to build a coaching business, but couldn't make any headway. So I started studying. I realized that the world's most elite marketers, entrepreneurs, and gurus were all using the same 4-step system. I call it the authority factor. On the show, I'm going to prove to you that the authority factor worked for them and it'll work for you. My name is Ken Dunn. Let's get started.
And I want to get right into it with you, everybody. It's Ken here, back again. Good to see everybody here. I'm super excited to be here with you today. Listen, what I want to talk about today is something that I think it's one of the first mistakes that most small business owners, most entrepreneurs make. If you're trying to build an online business around your expertise, I call it an authority business. The biggest mistake I've seen people make is what they actually call the thing. What they call their book, what they call their online courses, what they call their events. It can make it or break it. As you guys know, I spent years in the publishing business, and it was unbelievable. I spent about 12 years owning a publishing company, and we published over 3,000 books for authors. And now, this was a hybrid publisher, so we bought some of the books, and we had complete control over naming the books and the editorial and everything that the books went through. But the vast majority of our authors, were self-published authors, which means we could give them suggestions, we could give them some ideas or tips on what they should do with the names of their books and the title, like everything to do with it. But the final decision would be theirs. And more often than not, authors came to us with these preconceived ideas in their minds about what their book should be called. And what we found regularly was that most authors had some type of traumatic experience in their lives, some type of pre-breakthrough experience where, you know, they were struggling with something that they wanted now to teach other people through a book. And they had this breakthrough that put them on the right path of recovery, and now they're making more money, they've got better relationships, their health is recovered, and they want to help other people. So they literally write these books. And it's fascinating to me because I can give you 1,000 examples right now. These authors all wanted to name their books something that was tied to the breakthrough. I'll give you an example. I'll try to anyway. Here's one that comes to mind. There was a lady that came to us. She had been through some amazing spousal abuse. Like, unbelievable that she even made it through it. The guy used to gag her, used to bound her. When he'd go to work, he'd tie her up and put her in a closet. And she got through it. She got through it. She went on to make millions of dollars. And she tells that story all over the world. So now she wanted to write a book. And she just had it in her mind. The book was going to be called He Wasn't Going to Stop Me. Which really makes a lot of sense to her. Don't get me wrong. It really makes a lot of sense to her because that's what she used to tell herself when she was locked in those closets, when she was spending hours and hours of her time, you know, gagged and confined. She kept telling herself, he's not going to stop me. He's not going to stop me. He's not going to stop me. And that's how she kept herself alive. And so she was convinced the title of the book needed to be that. But she wanted to build a following of millions of people. And so when that book is published, that name represents the book. That name is the biggest reason why people are going to buy the book or not buy the book. That's the title. Naming is everything, friends, in any type of authority business. If you're building like a major event, I've helped thousands of people to literally host their own live events, online and offline. And we have a program called Fill Your Live Events where we teach that to people. And one of the first things we help people to understand is the name has to be the reason why somebody should attend. And it doesn't have to be a long name. Like our most successful events are called Easier Life Online. Does that not give somebody a clear understanding of why they should attend and what they're going to get out of it? See, that's the secret. And I've seen people, hosting events that I saw one the other day. New reality business camp. New reality business camp. New reality in what? It's amazing. See, people get these ideas in their minds about what the title of their thing should be, what the name of their thing should be. And they don't understand that the name should be directly related to the outcome and to the problem. So how do you figure out what the name should be for anything that you're doing? In my Authority Factor program, the very first thing, the Authority Factor program is literally a 4-step program that anybody in the world could use if you ever want to launch your own online business around your expertise. So let's say you've developed a significant amount of experience in your life and you now want to help other people and make a ton of money online. The Authority Factor program is for you. I'll put a link to a presentation in the notes that explains it all in detail. But the very first thing I do, I've helped hundreds and hundreds of people to launch online businesses around their expertise. I call them authority businesses, and they've gone on to make tens of thousands a month, some hundreds of thousands a month. The very first thing that I get them to do is what I call a client journey. A client journey is really simple. First, you figure out who is your ideal client and where are they at today. Then you ask yourself, okay, if they will take all of my advice and they'll do everything I say, what will their life look like? What will be different? What will be the improvement? What does happily ever after look like? And then once you know where they are now, what are they struggling with, and where they want to go, then I get them to build the step-by-step, just write it out, the step-by-step process to get to the promised land. Now, when it comes to naming anything, here's the secret. And here's what I tell every single student of mine in my coaching business. Ask yourself, what is the single biggest problem that person is facing, that they know about, that they realize they have, that they want to change? You got to figure that out. Here's why. Everything revolves around paid advertising today. Whether you're advertising on Google or Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, wherever it is, you're going to be advertising. That means your ad, the success of your advertisement is directly related to stopping the scroll. It's got to be a pattern interrupt. It's got to stop the scroll, right? They're scrolling along. They see your post. They stop. Why? What causes them to stop? It's the picture and it's the first line of text in that ad that's going to do it. So the first line of text should call out the problem. So what you have to realize, you have to ask yourself, what is that problem that people are struggling with right now? Your ideal client and customer. You've got to be crystal clear on what that problem is. As soon as you know what that problem is, the next step is really simple. Is have a name that calls out the problem. Have a name that calls out the problem. One of my most successful programs is Online Course Made Easy. See, I teach people how to build and launch online courses. And most people, they already know that they want to build an online course. Most of them have already tried. They just really struggle with it. They find it overwhelming. They find it complicated. And so when they're scrolling through Facebook, in the back of their mind, they're not thinking actively about it, I want to build an online course, but they're scrolling through Facebook, and when the first line in my copy, which is like that in a Facebook ad, the headline is what's below the video, but the unofficial headline is that first line, right? That first line, which appears above the break, so you're always going to see it. I'll just type Online Course Made Easy, or I'll ask a question around that topic. Are you struggling building an online course? Question mark. And if I was going to do a live event around that, if I was doing like a major event, I would call it Online Course Made Easy, or something that solves the problem. The headline should solve the problem. So if you're writing a book, build, launch, and scale an online course. Subtitle, in 14 days or less. So your title of your book, the name, the title of your online course, the title of your event has to solve the problem in as few words as possible. It's really that simple. But why is it that most people don't get it then? Why is it that most people choose names that have some type of personal meaning to them, but they don't mean anything to the reader, to the attendee, to the person that has the problem? Why is that? It's because they let their emotions get in the way. So friends, don't let your emotions get in the way. Ask yourself really simply, who is the person that needs my help the most? And the more clear you can get on who the ideal customer is or the ideal buyer of your product or attendee of an event, the easier it's going to be for you to market to them. You hear people saying all the time, market to as many people as you can. Open your net wide. That's what Grant Cardone says. And I have a ton of respect for Grant Cardone. And Grant says, when you're marketing to people, open your net as wide as possible. Market to as many people as you can. I 100% agree with that. Market to as many people as you can, but market with a very specific message intended for your perfect client. That way it'll draw those people out of the crowd. Those people will stand up. When they're looking through a bookstore and they're in the personal development, they're in the business development section, and they want to buy a book, they go in because they don't know what book they want to buy. They just want to buy a book. And so when they're in that section and they're looking at all those titles, which book do you think they're going to buy? It's the book that has the title that solves the problem. What's going to make somebody show up for your online webinar so you can sell them your online course? It's the headline on the landing page. So the first line on your ad is very important. That should call out the pain point, the challenge, solve the problem. And then there should be congruency, and your landing page should have a similar name to that first line in the ad. More people will sign up then. Why? Because they already know that they have the problem. You're presenting the solution in your headline, in your title. Friends, I really hope you hear this today. I really hope you hear this loud and clear. In 2021, I am going to help hundreds and hundreds of new people launch and scale authority businesses, online businesses around their expertise. And I can promise you this, if you keep listening to the information I'm sharing, you're going to learn exactly how to do it, but more importantly, you're going to start the right way. You're going to realize that the most important thing for you is to figure out what is the challenge that they're facing now, what's in their mind, and presenting the solution to them. Hey, if you like this video, if this made sense to you, do me a favor and share it. If you're listening to a podcast, do me a favor and share it or like it or do whatever you got to do. Spread the message. We'll see you soon. It's Ken Dunn.